My parents, who never allowed me to date, suddenly forced me into arranged dates, making me meet 8 potential marriage partners in one go. As a result, 8 times in a row, I, who never touched alcohol, was carried back home drunk. Mom and Dad never blamed me. Instead, they comforted me, saying it's normal for a grown-up to have a little drink and not to overthink it. But then I overheard them talking with my sister. Mom and Dad are so good to me, sending Scarlett off to those 8 dates. Once they get to know each other, it's only natural if Scarlett gets pregnant, right? When she is pregnant, we'll trick her into giving birth so that I don't have to go through that pain. But what if Scarlett finds out the truth later? How are we going to explain it to her? Dad, watching a video, sneered, explain? Just look at her slutty look in this video. A woman with such a lack of morals is bound to ruin the Chow family's reputation sooner or later. We're just going with the flow. Mom softly comforted my sister. Stephanie, you're too kind. That's why you feel sorry for such a slut. Look at her, isn't she enjoying it? Now, just pick carefully. See who's the best in bed, and then send him to Scarlett's bed for a test drive. If he can get her pregnant, we'll take the child and give all the property to you. You can live a happy life with your new husband. As for our retirement, you don't need to worry. If Scarlett dares not to support us, we'll go to her company and make such a scene that she loses her job. Stephanie sweetly agreed, casting a triumphant glance at me standing outside the door. Watching the 3 people I loved the most plotting how to exploit me, my heart turned ice cold at that moment. What if Scarlett gets angry because of this and refuses to support you? Stephanie hooked her arm through Dad's, her tone feigning concern, but her eyes revealed a mocking smile. Mentioning this, Dad got angry, and he angrily threw his phone away. She wouldn't dare. If she doesn't support us, I'll release these videos immediately. By then, she'll be ruined, and won't she have to come back to us? Mom said triumphantly, exactly. You don't even need to see her slutty ways in bed. Without a job, she can still support us with her skills in serving men. Stephanie, why are you worrying about her? Who knows where she learned those serving skills? She probably already sold herself before we knew it. If it weren't for her to support us in our old age, we would have wished her dead long ago. So that we wouldn't be embarrassed and become a laughingstock for the neighbors. Dad was even more furious. Stephanie, you must never learn from her. Scarlett is not even close to you. Seeing Mom and Dad angry, Stephanie quickly snuggled into their arms, comforting them. She glanced at me standing outside the door with the corner of her eyes, and a malicious sneer appeared on her lips. And I, standing outside, felt like my heart was being cut by countless knives. Inside the room, the video's volume was deliberately turned up. Those unconscious sounds I made while I was unconscious were stabbing my eardrums bit by bit, almost making me feel so ashamed that I wanted to jump off the building right away. I tightly clutched my chest, looking at the happy family of 3 in the room. That warmth and harmony seemed to never belong to me. I choked with sobs, only repeating one sentence in my heart, Mom, Dad, how can you be so biased? It was Mom and Dad who took my hand and said to me, our Scarlett has been alone for so many years. Mom and Dad are really worried about you, so we specially found you a few excellent dates, so that you can have someone to rely on in this life. Mom and Dad may have been strict with you before, but we were sincerely doing it for your own good. If you think there's someone you like, tell Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad have prepared a generous dowry for you to ensure that our daughter won't be bullied by others after she gets married. I was so touched that tears were about to fall. I thought they had finally changed their minds and realized that I was also their daughter, and that I also craved their love. But I didn't expect that all the wishful thinking was for Stephanie. So at that time, I forced myself to forget the harsh scolding and beatings they had given me over the years, all kinds of cold and hot violence, and wholeheartedly believed in them, and went to one arranged date after another. Even after drinking the beverage and feeling drowsy, I didn't suspect them. I only thought it was because my work was too busy and I hadn't rested well. And when I woke up the next day, when they brought me lemonade to my bedside, they told me that I was sent back by the dates, and I didn't have any doubts in my heart. But it wasn't until now that I knew. All the good things they did for me were actually to pave the way for Stephanie. Those words of love they said to me, they never intended to fulfill them. Instead, they wanted to squeeze me to the extreme and then give everything to Stephanie. At that moment, my heart died completely. I walked in the rainstorm like a walking corpse. Cars flew past me, but I was indifferent. I don't know how long I walked in the rain. Until Mom and Dad, holding umbrellas, anxiously called my name in the rain and hurriedly found me, asking, "Scarlett, what's wrong with you? Why are you walking in the rain alone? Hurry, 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 come home with Mom and Dad. The dates are still waiting for you at home. Mom and Dad have cooked you some chicken soup. Have a bowl and go see them." I was dazed for a moment and hesitantly said, "Can I not go see them? Or, can I not drink the chicken soup?" Mom's expression clearly changed, and Dad was a little annoyed. But Mom stopped Dad. "What nonsense are you talking about, silly child? What will happen to your body if you don't drink the chicken soup, and what will happen to your future if you don't see the D? Atesh? Mom and Dad are doing this for your own good. Come back with us." Saying that, she took my hand without any explanation and walked towards home. But I raised my head. Looking at the umbrellas that didn't tilt towards me at all, I laughed self-deprecatingly. I came home in a mess. The rain made all my clothes stick tightly to my body. My beautiful, graceful body was directly displayed in front of them. The 8 dates in the living room sat there, looking me up and down with greedy eyes. But Mom and Dad acted as if they couldn't see it, and warmly greeted them. "Our Scarlett has been spoiled by us since she was a child. She went out to play and got like this. Please forgive her." After saying that, Mom and Dad weren't even willing to give me a towel to dry myself off, and eagerly brought the chicken soup to the dripping wet me. "Scarlett, this is good stuff. After drinking it, you can have a good rest for a day. Look how embarrassed you are after being drenched by the rain." Mom tried hard to show a gentle and caring look, but the disgust in her eyebrows was still not well concealed. She smiled gently, rubbing my wet hair. "Drink it quickly, and Mom will dry your hair for you, otherwise you'll get the bed dirty later. Those sheets are expensive." I looked at her, holding on to the last hope, and asked again, "Mom, I don't want to drink the chicken soup. Please, can I not drink it?" Before I finished speaking, Dad slapped the back of my head without any explanation. "Drink when I tell you to. Don't talk so much nonsense. Do you have to force your father to break your legs like when you were a child before you drink?" The dates looked at the scene in front of them mockingly and laughed. My last dignity was also shattered on the ground. Seeing my hurt and painful eyes, a trace of heartache flashed in Mom's eyes. She was about to say, "Forget it, if Scarlett doesn't want to drink it, then." But before she finished speaking, Stephanie came over, hooked Mom's arm, and interrupted her. "Oh, Scarlett, how can you be so cold-hearted? Mom has been cooking this chicken soup for you for a long time. How can you not drink it? You didn't understand Mom's good intentions when you were a child, but now you still want to waste Mom's intentions. You shouldn't, Scarlett. You're older than me. How can you not understand this simple reason? There are so many people at home watching." Mom hesitated, wanting to say something. But the angry Dad had already rushed up. "You're not as sensible as your sister. You're deliberately trying to embarrass our Chiao family in front of others. You have to drink this bowl of chicken soup today, whether you want to or not." After saying that, he grabbed my neck without any explanation, and then snatched the bowl and forced the bowl of chicken soup into my mouth. The spiciness mixed with indescribable bitterness. Just like Mom's eyes. I sadly looked at Mom in front of me, and Dad who was still angry, and the despair in my heart almost made me lose the strength to live. I tried hard to move my lips, but I didn't have the strength to say the bitter words. Only my slightly moving mouth silently accused them. "Mom, Dad, why can't you love me once too?" I quickly fell down, and in the last moments of my consciousness, I saw Dad beckoning the 8 dates to walk towards me. Then, under the gaze of Mom and Dad, they picked me up, who was too weak to resist, and sent me to the bedroom. I weakly stretched out my hand towards Mom and Dad outside the door. But that door was still mercilessly closed. In the moment of closing the door, I saw Mom's eyes full of sadness and pain. When I woke up, I already knew what had happened to me. I lay on the bed in a mess, and tears seemed to never stop flowing. Beside the bed, Dad's phone was playing the freshly recorded video with abandon. Mom was persuading me, Scarlett, Mom is doing this for your own good. It's a lifelong thing if your married life isn't happy. Mom is just letting you choose a husband you're more satisfied with. How can you look at Mom like that? Now tell Mom, who was the best to you just now? I looked at her with red eyes, my voice hoarse and unrecognizable. Why don't you let Stephanie try it herself? Why bother asking me? As soon as I finished speaking, a crisp slap fell on my face. Scarlett, have you no shame? How can you say let your sister try this kind of thing? Don't you know how much this kind of thing hurts a girl? Of course it doesn't matter to a used flower like you. But your sister is a pure and innocent girl. How can you treat her like this? Do you even act like an older sister? I looked at Stephanie, who had just entered the room, leaning against the door and looking at me triumphantly and provocatively. Pure and innocent? When she was still in high school, everyone knew that she was notoriously easy. Whether it was the school bully or the thugs outside, as long as he was a man, she could easily spend a good night with him. She played even more crazily in college, taking Mom and Dad's money to travel. Every time she went to a place, she used her body to pay for everything. She was even proud of it, claiming that she traveled all over the country and abroad without any money, and was a truly open and amazing big woman. For the sake of her being my sister, I often tried to advise her, but every time she looked at me with disdain and contempt. Scarlett, you're a Qing dynasty person living in a feudal society. You're so old-fashioned. What era is it? You're still using this kind of feudal, foot-binding thinking to restrain me. No wonder you can only study in school and don't even know what's the use of your scholarships. Unlike me, I've already traveled to so many countries in Europe. I'm a socialite now. You bumpkin can't compare to me. You're so ugly. How dare you talk about me? Disgusting. Saying that, she gave me the middle finger and left. Later, after graduating from college, she couldn't find a good job. She spent her days going to venues, hooking up with rich kids. Finally, I don't know who she hooked up with, becoming someone's mistress, carrying brand-name bags and driving luxury cars everywhere, flaunting her wealth in front of Mom and Dad, making Mom and Dad think that she was the one with a promising future. And me, who worked diligently, was even more disliked by Mom and Dad, and their attitude towards me was even worse. But I didn't expect that Stephanie took my advice as hatred and has been instigating Mom and Dad to treat me like this for so many years, just to retaliate against my advice. Just as I was about to reveal all these truths to Mom and Dad, a strange nausea surged up. I rushed into the bathroom and threw up a lot. When I came out, I saw Mom and Dad's surprised looks. You wouldn't be pregnant so soon, would you? That's really a good thing. Come on, let's go see who this child belongs to. It was so easy to get pregnant, we have to introduce Stephanie to him quickly. The 8 dates were personally selected by Mom and Dad and are all rich kids, the kind who are especially rich. If she's pregnant with a son, let Stephanie marry him with the child, and wouldn't our family's good days come? Mom and Dad became more and more excited as they talked. Not noticing my increasingly desperate and helpless gaze, I stroked my lower abdomen, feeling the rhythm of life there, but still coldly said to them, I tested it this morning, I'm not pregnant. I just caught a cold from the rain and have an upset stomach. Hearing this, Mom was instantly disappointed. Dad looked at me with hateful eyes, and said with great contempt, looks like a useless thing that can't give birth. I don't know what we've been raising you for all these years. You're completely useless. It's a waste of food. Before Mom and Dad found out that I was really pregnant, I secretly went to a private clinic. On the way to the clinic, I called the company. I'm applying for a transfer to overseas, and I'll never come back. The manager on the other end was very surprised. Scarlett, you used to say you wanted to take care of your family and wouldn't accept this good opportunity for a transfer. What's wrong now? Listening to the manager's concerned voice on the other end, the smile on my lips was bitter and sarcastic. I don't have a family anymore. The other end seemed to understand something, and sure enough, didn't ask any further. Instead, they agreed to my request very smoothly. Before lying on the operating table, I booked a plane ticket in advance. As soon as the operation was over, I would leave. Originally, it was to avoid Mom and Dad's eyes and ears, so that they wouldn't cause a scene at the hospital and make everyone know about it. But I didn't expect them to tell people everywhere. Even while I was having the operation, I heard the doctors and nurses talking. Have you heard? The Chow family's slutty daughter dated 8 dates in one go, and mixed them all together. She's really slutty to the extreme. If I had this kind of daughter, I would definitely beat her to death. She plays so wildly, I don't know if she has any dirty diseases. If I knew her, I would definitely spit on her from 10 meters away. It's disgusting. They even asked me, Miss, have you heard of this kind of thing? I sadly looked at the people in front of me and said to them, maybe that girl has some hidden difficulties? Give me a break. As if we don't know, this kind of woman is born a slut and has long been played dirty. How can she have any hidden difficulties? If she didn't seduce 8 dates in one go, would they have happened to have so many explicit things happen with her? This kind of woman will cheat even if she marries home in the future. She should be drowned. Oh, right, miss, what's your name? We'll register a bed for you when the operation is over. I hesitated for a long time and finally said in a hoarse voice, Scarlett Chow. The nurse suddenly looked up at me. The doctor was even so shocked that his hand shook. In an instant, a large amount of blood gushed out from under me. His shaking caused me to bleed heavily. The whole clinic instantly became chaotic, and the doctor shouted loudly, Emergency! Emergency! As the blood rapidly drained, my vision also went black. I felt them frantically pressing on my chest, desperately trying to save me. But at that moment, I was hoping that it would be good to just die like this. Just at this moment, the door of the operating room opened. Stephanie rushed in, and she exclaimed as she looked at everything in front of her, and was furious. So, you were hiding from us that you were pregnant. You're actually going to cruelly treat such a small life. That's my wealth and glory. Scarlett, you just can't stand to see me happy, you just want to ruin my life, right? Seeing this, the nurse hurriedly pulled her out. But she didn't listen at all. Instead, while being dragged out of the operating room, she called Mom and Dad, crying to them with tears in her eyes, Mom and Dad, Scarlett almost killed me, but even so, I don't blame her. Who told her to be my sister? It's just that your daughter is really unable to live on because of Scarlett. Your daughter will repay Mom and Dad's kindness in the next life. The sounds of Dad scolding me and Mom's cursing me on the other end of the phone came through the thin operating room door. I lay on the operating table, gasping for breath, and a weak, sarcastic smile appeared on my lips. The doctor who was resuscitating me saw me like this and did the CPR even more forcefully. He panicked and anxiously said to me, Hold on. Miss Chow. Please hold on. You can't die anywhere, but especially not at our clinic. But my eyes really couldn't open anymore. I really didn't want to stay in this world that had never loved me. A tear slid across the corner of my eye. I closed my eyes heavily. An ear-piercing scream came from the instrument. Soon Mom and Dad arrived at the clinic. After finally persuading Stephanie, who was half dead, they finally rushed to my bed, ready to interrogate me. But what they didn't expect was that the bed that belonged to me was as white as new, spotless. Only a piece of paper was quietly placed on it. Mom and Dad looked at each other, and an ominous premonition seemed to overflow from their hearts. They hurriedly picked up the piece of paper, and all they saw was written on it. The doctor walked in. He interrupted Mom and Dad and said to them, The patient in this bed, Miss Chow, has passed away. If you are her relatives, please pack her things. We need this bed for the next patient. After saying that, they began to pack the bed quickly. Seeing the scene in front of him, Dad cursed even more disgustingly, What a jinx, rushing over so anxiously, and now we have to clean up so many unlucky things. Stephanie, where's the Scarlett you're talking about? She doesn't even know to come out and help us. Unlike you, who always knows to stay by our side, that beast is really not even close to you. We're definitely going to teach her a good lesson when she goes back tonight, and see if she dares to pull these stunts again, Dad said angrily. He saw Mom trying to open the piece of paper. He was annoyed and snatched the piece of paper, crumpled it into a ball and stuffed it into his pocket. What are you still looking at? Didn't the doctor ask us to be volunteers and help out quickly? Let's hurry up and pack, so that we can find Scarlett later. If she locks the door when she gets home, we won't be able to teach her a lesson. Mom looked at the piece of paper and stammered, I always feel like that piece of paper might be related to Scarlett, you just. Seeing this, Stephanie quickly hooked Mom's arm. Oh, Mom, do you still know Scarlett's personality? She's been slutty so many times since she was a child, she's probably out with some men again. Why are you worrying about her? Let's go home quickly, otherwise, like Dad said, if she gets home earlier than us, won't we have less time to teach her a lesson? Mom still wanted to say something, but Stephanie had already pulled her out of the clinic without any explanation. That day, Mom and Dad waited at home for a long time, but Scarlett didn't come back. Stephanie sent me countless messages to watch me make a fool of myself. Scarlett, why aren't you back yet? Are you afraid of something? Don't even think about it, you're just a dog that I'm stepping on. Luckily you were the loyal dog that took the blame for the things I did before. That dog leash called blood is so useful between us. Video? Oh Scarlett, look, how did I accidentally send out that video of you from that day? You better come back obediently and let Mom and Dad vent their anger. Don't even think about exposing my things and trying to make us both die together. As long as you dare to send it, the videos like the one you saw above will soon be accidentally sent all over the world. At this time, Mom was also anxious. She used her and Dad's phones to call me several times. But everyone was busy, and none of them were connected, nor did they send them any messages. Dad was already furious, this slutty bitch, she's even learned to run away from home now. You just wait and see how I teach her a lesson when she comes back. But even at this moment, they didn't realize that they couldn't receive anything I sent anymore. Just at this moment, the doorbell suddenly rang. Mom opened the door in a hurry, with a face full of joy, but standing outside the door was a stranger wearing a courier uniform. He looked Mom up and down. Are you Scarlett Xiao's family? Here's a document for her that needs to be signed for. He handed over an envelope. Mom took it suspiciously, asking as she opened it, what kind of document is it that needs us to sign for her? And when she completely took out that document, she was also completely frozen there. All she saw was a few words clearly written on it, Scarlett Xiao's death certificate. Mom and Dad held the death certificate, stunned for a long time, initially not believing it. Okay, this little bitch Scarlett has actually learned to do this kind of thing to trick us now. Does she really think we'll sympathize with her if she does this? Did she collude with you to deliberately make this scene, just to attract our attention to her? Tell me, where is she? Let's go and teach her a good lesson. The person delivering the document was annoyed by their entanglement and said angrily, won't you check her identity information to see if she's dead or not? These words reminded Mom. She took out her phone and checked my identity information. The black and white cancellation completely stimulated her. Her legs went soft, and she slid down against the wall, suddenly bursting into a very miserable cry, my daughter. Dad looked at the word cancellation and couldn't say a word. His eyes were red, and his hands trembled. Scarlett, you're lying, right? Just at this moment, Mom suddenly got up from the ground and frantically rummaged through Dad's pocket. She took out the crumpled piece of paper from his pocket. Mom hurriedly opened it, and then rushed out of the door like she was flying. The puzzled Dad followed behind her until she stopped at a place where valuables were stored. Mom found one of the safe deposit boxes, and while happily taking out a document from inside, she happily said, the death certificate must be Scarlett tricking us. She must be fine, so she deliberately left this note as a prank. She's really as naughty as she was when she was a child. But before she could finish speaking, the document she took out according to the password on the paper made her stand there in a daze. It clearly wrote on it Stephanie Xiao's promiscuity record. Dad, who had been following closely behind, turned red with awe. He snatched the document and tore it open, looking at it page by page, initially saying, I want to see how that Scarlett framed her sister. But the more he saw, the less Dad could scold. Mom's face turned deathly pale. Finally, when she flipped to the last page and saw my memorial photo, she erupted in a heart-wrenching wail. My Scarlett! Stephanie, who who had followed, saw Mom crying so desperately for me, her face contorted with jealousy. She brought it on herself, she spat out. She was such a dirty person. What's there to cry about? Before she could finish, Dad's furious slap landed on her face. You bitch! Who allowed you to talk about your sister like that? You're the one who did all the dirty, rotten things, and now you're trying to pin it on her. You've completely disgraced the Chiao family. Stephanie fell to the ground, her mouth full of blood. She looked at Dad in terror as he threw photos of her in bed with several men in her face. Panic washed over her, her face turning even more grotesque. She scrambled like a dog to Dad's feet, clutching his leg and begging for mercy. Dad! Scarlett must have done this on purpose to frame me. She's just jealous that you all treat me well, that you love me. Frame you? Mom slapped the other side of Stephanie's face. Her face instantly swelled up like a pig's. Scarlett's character? Do you think her own parents, who raised her, don't know? We've heard about your promiscuous lifestyle for a long time. What? Now you're pretending to be an innocent little flower to get married? If it weren't for you, would your sister be dead? And no. Stephanie cried and shook her head frantically. But she couldn't elicit a shred of sympathy from Mom and Dad. They were consumed by the pain of losing me completely, unable to pull themselves out of it. Stephanie, having a daughter like you is disgusting. With that, Mom and Dad turned resolutely to leave. The 8 dates, who had heard the news and rushed over, arrived to find a chaotic scene. They exchanged bewildered glances and asked Mom and Dad what had happened. Dad grabbed Stephanie by the hair and threw her in front of the 8 dates. This slut is yours to deal with. The woman you all loved was actually my eldest daughter. She was wonderful, but her vicious sister killed her. When she died, Scarlett was even pregnant with all of your children. Even for the sake of your unborn children, I think we should hand her over to you. This is what she owes her sister. Whatever you do to her will be compensation for Scarlett. Stephanie watched the men approach, finally screaming in terror, Mom and Dad. You can't ruin me like this. I still want to marry into a wealthy family and live a good life. You promised me. But this time, Mom and Dad didn't even want to acknowledge her. Stephanie's anguished cries were ultimately drowned out by the angry roars of the 8 dates. They vented all the pain of losing their children on her. While Stephanie was getting her just desserts, I was waking up peacefully in an overseas estate. That day at the clinic, the doctor used all his strength to save me. Weak, I grasped the doctor and nurse's hands, pleading with them to keep my survival a secret. Then, dragging my battered body, I packed the suitcase I had prepared and resolutely embarked on a work transfer overseas. After arriving overseas, it took me a long time to heal my body and emerge from that terrible ordeal. During my overseas work assignment, I met Lucas Xia, who was so good to me. As the new intern at the company, he was sunny, tall, handsome, and cheerful, completely different from someone like me, who had been immersed in family gloom for years. I was deeply attracted to him, but I never dared to face my own heart. Until he crossed mountains and seas and forced his way into my world. He pinned me against the wall and asked, "Why are you always avoiding me? Aren't we partners?" I wanted to use work as an excuse to deflect, but S gentle eyes rendered me speechless. I finally told him the truth, I'm a woman who has suffered hardships. You're too good. I'm not worthy of you. Lucas responded with his warm palm, taking my hand tightly in his. He said to me gently, Scarlett, you're wonderful. I liked you from the first moment I saw you. Your unique aura and your excellent work ethic both deeply attracted me. Not everyone's life is sunny. The flower that has weathered the rainstorm and still stands tall is the most beautiful scenery in the world. His sincerity finally made me feel an unprecedented warmth. He didn't force me to commit to a relationship with him. Instead, in the days that followed, he constantly encouraged me and helped me out of the shadows. Later, after he learned about my past experiences from my colleagues at work, he rushed over without a word and held me tightly in his arms. Scarlett, you don't need to blame yourself. These things aren't your fault. You're the purest and cleanest person in the world. Don't punish yourself for other people's mistakes. I just arrived in your world too late and wasn't able to protect you. If I can, I hope that I can spend the rest of my life protecting you. Listening to Lucas's confession, I finally completely let down my guard and kissed him without reservation. In that moment, my sunny day finally arrived. The people around us were moved to tears by our love and couldn't help but applaud us. I lowered my head shyly, letting Lucas hold my hand tightly as he announced our unbreakable vow to everyone. Later, I learned that Lucas wasn't just an intern. His real identity was the heir to the Xia group. He came to the company as an intern only to get a better understanding of the company's operations from the ground up. Shortly after declaring his love for me, he returned to his position. And my position in the company rose steadily, due to my excellent work ethic and my relationship with Lucas. I quickly became the company's top executive on the international stage. With Lucas's companionship during long hours of work, I gradually forgot that nightmarish past. We soon entered the halls of marriage and shortly after, moved into Lucas's estate in Europe. Every morning, when I woke up in the estate's bed, there were two adorable little babies who belonged to Lucas and me, opening their round eyes and joining me in welcoming a beautiful new world. I still remember the day I gave birth. Lucas pressed an infinitely affectionate kiss on my forehead. The person I should thank most in this world is my darling Scarlett. You withstood endless storms so that we could finally meet in a foreign land. From now on, it won't just be me protecting you, my lovely wife. Our children will also join me in protecting their dearest mom. I was immersed in endless happiness, tears welling up in my eyes. Due to a work transfer, Lucas and I finally returned home with our children after many years away from our homeland. Just as we got off the plane, I saw an elderly couple, looking haggard and stooped, running towards me. When they saw me, they were too excited to speak, their faces filled with regret and pain, mixed with the joy of a long-awaited reunion. Scarlett, it's Mom and Dad. Mom grasped my hand, her voice choked with tears. Scarlett, Mom is sorry. Mom owes you. Mom mistakenly believed your sister's words and did such cruel things to you. It's all Mom's fault. Dad was even more distraught. We know now that our Scarlett is the best daughter in the world. That slut has gotten what she deserves. I followed the direction they were pointing. In the dirtiest corner, Dirty Stephanie was huddled up in a ball, looking insane, her face bombarded by countless reporters' cameras. According to the latest news, this is Miss Chow, who framed her own sister to cover up her promiscuity. She has finally paid a heavy price for her indiscretions. This is a classic example of karma. I watched all of this silently, looking at Mom and Dad, who were wearing ingratiating smiles, but I couldn't stir up the slightest ripple in my heart. Scarlett, come home. Mom has prepared your favorite food for you. Your dad has also been meticulously tending to your bedroom every day, so that when you go back, everything will feel the same. Mom and Dad know they were wrong. We'll never let anyone hurt our Scarlett again. Scarlett, will you give us a chance to make up for what we did to you? Mom and Dad only have you as a daughter. We never want to lose you again. They spoke with tears in their eyes, but they couldn't stir up a shred of sympathy or pity in my heart. Mr. Chow, Mrs. Chow, I hope you won't say things like that again. You've mistaken me for someone else. I'm not your daughter. Your daughter died on the operating table in that clinic. You were the ones who personally pushed her into that purgatory. As for making amends, that's even more impossible. If apologies and amends were useful, there would be no more pain in the world. I said indifferently, but I was unintentionally pulled into a warm, solid embrace. Lucas came to my side and gently wrapped his arms around me. He turned to my mom and dad, his eyes colder than ever. Scarlett struggled in that purgatory for so many years and spent so much effort to climb out, not to suffer again. If you really have even a shred of remorse for your daughter, then please stay out of her life from now on. That's the last thing you can give her. After speaking, he embraced me and left without looking back. Behind me, I heard Mom and Dad burst into extremely painful wails. Scarlett! Mom and Dad were wrong. Mom and Dad will spend their lives atoning for you. Please forgive Mom and Dad. Lucas covered my ears with his hands, his tone so gentle it was almost tender. Scarlett, don't listen. I smiled and took his hands down, looking at him intently. Don't worry, I'm not the same Scarlett Xiao from years ago. I already returned my life to them that day. Why, now I have the family who truly need my love here, and I will spend the rest of my life loving them wholeheartedly. After speaking, I gave him an extremely gentle kiss, and then together, hand in hand with one adorable baby each, we walked out of the airport. Not long after, I heard the news that Mom and Dad had joined forces to send the 8 dates to court. And after the 8 dates received their sentences, they turned themselves in and went to jail, confessing everything they had done in the past. As for those videos and photos, they disappeared completely from the world in a fire that engulfed our old house. At that moment, the heavy cloud that had been hanging over my head could finally dissipate completely, and the long-lost sunshine that should have belonged to me finally shone on me again after many years. I held Lucas and cried, venting the grievances of many years. 2 adorable babies also rushed over to wipe away my tears and gently coaxed me, "Mommy, don't cry." I looked gently at my new family and said to them, "With you, I won't cry anymore." Lucas spread his arms wide and embraced me and the babies. He looked at me with a smile and said, "Don't worry, we'll all protect Mommy together in the future." I was immersed in endless happiness, and in that warm sunshine, I saw the bright future that should have belonged to me all along.